Welcome everyone. Our speakers for today are Hisham, Zahid and David Haddad. Hisham is a cybersecurity professional and researcher with over 15 years of technical and leadership experience. Currently, he's serving as the CISO of security compliance as a security compliance manager at a fintech startup, where he has held roles spanning engineering, risk management, audit, and compliance. Hisham holds an MBA, also a master's in science. David serves as an assistant director in EY's technology risk management practice, focusing on helping EY member firms comply with internal and external security data and regulatory requirements. David also holds an MBA and is currently in his fourth year of doctoral studies at Purdue University, where he's specializing in AI and information security. Both of them hold several industry recognized certifications, and today they're going to tell us about the impact of such professional certifications in cybersecurity careers. Whenever you guys are ready.
Great. Well, thank you for that introduction. Good evening, all. We are thrilled to be here today to discuss a topic often debated across industries, and that's professional certifications. My name is David Haddad, and together with Hisham, Zahid, our presentation is entitled Decrypting the Impact of Professional Certifications in Cybersecurity Careers. We put together this session to help you understand the realized value of certifications, how they impact careers, and whether they are worth the investment. Today's agenda consists of various topics, but at a high level, we'll assess certification value, mapping certifications against roles, return on investments, industry trends for cybersecurity practitioners, and actionable steps to maximize career growth in cybersecurity. Now, before we begin, let me briefly introduce myself and my co-author, Hisham. A quick disclaimer, the views shared today are our own and do not represent any employer or certification body. So my technology and cybersecurity experience spans across different industries such as academia, transportation, government, financial services, and professional services. My domain specialties include emerging technologies, notably AI risk management and DevSecOps. I hold various industry certifications such as CISSP and others. Hisham, can you please tell the audience more about yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Hisham Zahid, and I've worked in multiple industries, including telecom and technology. And my domain specialties include governance, risk, and compliance and cloud security. And I'm an author of The Phantom CISO, a leadership self-development book on thinking like a CISO.
We've also included our LinkedIn QR code so that any audience members can connect with us, and we promise it isn't malware.
Hey, David, quick question. I don't see the slides on my end.
Can everyone see these slides?
Yeah, we see them.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay.
Great. So let's start by addressing the fundamental question. Do cybersecurity certifications add value to your career? We all measure value differently based on personal and professional aspirations and experiences. Value can be measured quantitatively and qualitatively. Defining value means you ensure strategic certification choices align with your intended career goals. Now, how do we measure value? Well, certifications are a hiring benchmark. They help candidates stand out in a competitive job market. Certified professionals often command higher salaries than non-certified peers. Later in this presentation, we will review industry statistics and insights to support this statement. Also, industry-recognized certifications validate expertise, instilling trust among employers, stakeholders, and colleagues. The certification journey enhances structured learning, reinforcing best practices and industry standards. And lastly, on the emotional intelligence side, certifications provide a sense of achievement, equipping professionals to tackle cybersecurity challenges with confidence and motivation. Now, let's discuss how professionals decide which certifications to pursue and the factors influencing their decisions. Ultimately, we begin with why pursue a certification? So before embarking on your journey, ask yourself why you want to pursue a certification. What is your value proposition? Certifications do not replace technical or soft skills. Certifications are one tool in your toolbox. Their effectiveness depends on your objectives. Whether you aim for industry recognition, skill validation, or even a stepping stone to a promotion, it's essential to know why you're pursuing a certification. Are you doing it because your employer requires it, or maybe you're a continuous learner? Certifications require discipline and commitment. Studying while managing work and balancing a personal life can be challenging. So many professionals start their certification journey, but they don't finish because they underestimate the required level of effort and difficulty of examinations. Now, to put this holistically across the certification journey, getting certified isn't just about passing an exam. It involves experience, practical application, and continuous learning. The real value of a certification is how you apply the knowledge in real-world scenarios. Now I'm going to pass it over to Hisham to walk us through the cybersecurity domain system.
Thanks, David. So this is a cybersecurity domain system, and it's actually a mind map created by Henry Jiang. And this demonstrates the vastness of cybersecurity and also a bird's eye view. So as you can see that cybersecurity is not limited to ethical hacking or white hats. It's actually multiple hats, as you see here. And these multiple hats keep the organization secure and protect every part of the operations effectively. So as you scan this from the bottom left and go clockwise, you'll see various high-level domains such as security operations, physical security, security architecture, and so on. Now, if you look at security architecture on the top left, you can see how vast those disciplines are as well. Cloud security is its own specialty. So is identity and access management, and so is cryptography. You'll also notice that some of these domains might reflect organizational team structure or frameworks that you use to keep the organization compliant. So before embarking on a certification journey, I encourage you to understand these domains and even attend seminars like these to get a glimpse of various domains. Now, new threats will continue to emerge, and professionals like you and I will need to specialize in these various domains. Now, how will this mind map help you? Well, let's say you want to get into the security operations domain and you're specifically interested in Red Team on the bottom left. Well, they have a specific certification for that. Or you might have a goal to holistically understand all the domains here, and the CISSP credential might be a good choice. Finally, these domains also reflect relevant cybersecurity frameworks, so having an essential understanding of these domains will help you progress in your cyber journey. Now, I want to remind everyone that certifications validate your skills and knowledge, but they're not a replacement for practical hands-on experience. They help structure your learning, and they can signal competence to your employer. I also want to mention about this domain system is that these domains are not isolated. They have overlapping skill sets, as you can tell from the color codes. My own path led me to move between governance and risk management, and these are two areas I consider to be cousins, since they require a thorough grasp of policy, industry trends, and risk mitigation. Now, others might flow naturally between roles such as the Security Operations Center or incident response and so on. But as you consider certifications, refer back to this mind map to identify which areas your interests lie. And finally, I want to mention here is that there's no single formula for career progression in cybersecurity, as you can tell from this mind map. Here, I call this an overwhelming piece of art, and it's a cybersecurity sea of certifications. And this is an example of certifications that map to select cybersecurity domains above. But whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or expert, this graph is a good guide to achieve certification based on your level. So for myself, my first certification was the CCNA, which is a network engineer certification. And as I progressed to a more senior role, I achieved the CISSP, which is a more holistic cybersecurity certification. David, what was your first certification?
So my first professional certification was the CISA by ISACA, Certified Information Systems Auditor. And that was partially because at the time, at that point in my career, I was working in IT audit at the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago. Nevertheless, that was a great stepping stone to introduce me to other professional certifications. It allowed me to obtain my CISM, my CDPSE, and like yourself, my CISSP.
Thanks, David. So as you can see, everyone's security journey is different. So whether you're studying IT, cybersecurity, or already advanced in your career, you can correlate the domain system that I shared earlier to these security certifications to see where your interests lie. So we can't speak about domains and certifications without speaking about skills and job roles. And so here I've mapped out specific domains, strategic and technical domains to these skills and job roles. And as you can see from the first row, governance, risk, and compliance, the skills that are require development of policy, performing risk assessments, stakeholder communication, and so on. If you're a consultant in a different industry that's not cybersecurity and you have the stakeholder communication skills, well, those will map great with this domain. And you'll be able to apply it to job roles such as GRC analyst or a risk consultant. And then I've also mapped the common security certifications that map to this domain. Additionally, access control is a different domain, and you might have experience being a system administrator, whether in a university or in a company where you might have provisioned users. Well, this is a great opportunity to map to this domain and become an IAM engineer or a security administrator and obtain these specific common security certifications. Here are two domains that are highly technical in nature: security operations and incident response. One thing you'll notice in the skills and strengths section, they have very overlapping skills, common overlapping skills. And this tells me that I can move from one domain to another, from a SOC analyst to a SOC manager. And one thing to learn about this in terms of career progression is that all of these domain paths can lead to executive positions, especially when you have experience in multiple domains, and you can also become a CISO with this experience. Now, before you engage in a certification selection lifecycle, it's critical to pinpoint your strengths and weaknesses. This will help you identify knowledge or skill set gaps and help you pick the domain of choice. Now, if you're not getting feedback where you are, I recommend that you highly look for that feedback, whether it's from your professors or from your leads. Now, to begin, the first thing that we need to do in this life cycle is identify our career objectives. So where are you now and where do you want to go? I encourage you to list your current title, responsibilities, and projects that you worked on, and identify the specific role or domain that you're interested in. The next thing to do is to do a skills mapping exercise. Look for those job descriptions for those roles you're interested in and ask yourself, which of these responsibilities do I already fulfill and which do I need to learn? This is a great opportunity to do a self-assessment, and you can set specific learning priorities. So if I'm interested in a cloud security role, well, do I have the AWS and Azure skills? And if I don't, well, I've identified a gap right there. The third thing to do is to seek mentor to seek peer or mentor feedback. It's important for us to have a trusted advisor where we can reach out to them, and especially if they're in that desired domain, that can offer practical advice on these skills. They'll also help us answer the question, why this path? And they'll help us validate our assumptions to correct our understanding about which certifications truly matter in the real world. Finally, this is an opportunity to confirm our target role and domain. So pick the domain that you have in mind that's realistic, and then lock in on that specialty. Finally, you can pursue the certification that you're interested in. I also recommend to look at certifications that cover the same domain. There are cloud certifications that are vendor agnostic, such as the CCSP, or vendor specific, like the AWS Certified Security Specialty. Then you can start studying and practicing. Now, this is an iteration and evolving process. David and I have earned our credentials not in a span of months, but a span of years based on our job skills and roles that we played. And then finally, I would recommend to stay current as these domains will evolve quickly. And we have to ensure that these certification paths that we choose match our long-term objectives. So there's an ongoing debate in the industry whether certifications are worth it. And these are specific points that people make to undermine this journey. A lot of people believe that obtaining a credential only provides you with theoretical knowledge. But remember, you can always couple this with your current experience or start your own project. As far as missing soft skills, well, you have the opportunity to present in forums like these to address the soft skills. And then in terms of lack of real world scenarios, well, you can participate in capture the flag exercises to obtain real world scenario skills as well. One thing I want to mention is that for the fourth bullet, don't engage on this journey to add letters to your name. Tie it back to the value proposition that David mentioned and ask yourself why. What value will this provide if I obtain these certifications? Finally, don't discount the work you've done to achieve the certifications. In terms of renewing them, employers will help you renew them as long as you complete the required continuous education credits. And I'll pass it on to David to talk about ROI.
So now let's explore whether certifications are financially and professionally worth it. I want to start by saying the commercialization of emerging and advanced technologies continues to expand the threat and risk landscape, driving an increasing demand for cybersecurity experts. Certifications are crucial in strengthening the cybersecurity workforce by validating expertise, improving job prospects, and fostering career growth. Now let's dive into some key industry statistics to see how these factors translate into real-world impacts. Technology, especially cybersecurity, is one of the fastest growing fields, with an estimated 357,000 job openings annually in the US alone. The demand for security professionals continues to rise as businesses face evolving cyber threats. The Labor Bureau Statistics reports a 33% growth rate of InfoSec analysts by 2033, much faster than average. And just to put into perspective, the average job growth rate is about 4%. Certified professionals do tend to earn more. For instance, ISC Squared reported the median salary for CISSP holders is around $147,000 per year. While certifications can boost earnings, experience, and skills, ultimately determining your value in the market. And lastly, on the emotional intelligence side, ROI isn't just about the money, but also career growth, networking opportunities, and professional credibility. Pearson VUE conducted a 2023 study that outlined the value of an IT certification, with 92% of certified professionals reporting a boost in confidence of business acumen and technical skill sets. This boost in confidence results in higher job satisfaction and readiness to take on greater responsibilities. With technology evolving at an unprecedented rate, cybersecurity professionals must continuously update their skills and expertise to stay relevant in the industry. Now, based on our industry experience and research, cybersecurity professionals should focus on upskilling and developing in 4 key domains for 2025. The first one, of course, is artificial intelligence, specifically prompt engineering and AI governance. AI-driven security solutions automate threat detection, incident response, and anomaly detection, making security operations more effective and efficient. However, poor AI governance can introduce bias, compliance risks, and unintended security gaps. Security teams and general AI users must master prompt engineering, which is crafting precise queries to ensure that accurate, comprehensive responses are conducted for investigations, threat detection, and research. Now, malicious threat actors are doing the same. As AI adoption grows, social engineering, TTPs, are becoming more sophisticated, making practical prompt engineering a critical skill for defense and offense in cybersecurity. Now, briefly on AI governance and explainability. As AI makes security decisions, organizations must ensure transparency, accountability, and compliance while managing bias and ethical risks. Explainability enables security teams to validate actions, detect errors, and refine models for accuracy and trust. The next area is DevSecOps, specifically compliance as code and machine identity and access management. Now, DevSecOps integrates security early in the development lifecycle, reducing vulnerabilities and ensuring security is embedded rather than added later. Security isn't a topping, it's a main ingredient. As far as compliance as code, it's transforming how organizations manage security and regulatory requirements. Instead of relying on manual processes and manual reviews, we aim to automate compliance enforcement within our infrastructure. Now, this means security policies are embedded directly into code, ensuring real-time monitoring, continuous enforcement, and reduced human error. On machine identity and access management, the use of machine identities is rapidly increasing and is driven by autonomous technologies like AI agents. However, as machines' identities proliferate, so do the security challenges related to managing their access. Machine IAM ensures that these non-human entities have proper access at the right time and nothing else. Thirdly, cloud security. Zero trust means one thing: never trust, always verify. In today's cloud-driven world, implicit trust is a weakness. Every user, every device, every workload must be continuously authenticated and restricted to the least privileged access. As attack surfaces expand, AI-driven threats evolve, and regulations tighten. Cybersecurity professionals must continuously adopt zero trust processes to reduce risk proactively. And lastly, data protection, specifically data use and compliance. For enterprises developing AI solutions, customer and client data is both a resource and a risk. Using this data to train models requires strict safeguards to ensure security, privacy, and compliance. Organizations must establish clear engagement agreements, conduct compliance reviews, and implement technical assessments before integrating data into AI models to mitigate risks. These steps prevent unauthorized use, ensure regulatory adherence, such as to the EU AI Act, and build customer and stakeholder trust. In an era of increasing scrutiny, responsible data use isn't just a best practice, it's a business imperative. These trends highlight the increasing convergence of AI, automation, and security compliance. As cybersecurity practitioners, to stay ahead, we must continuously upskill, apply hands-on knowledge, and proactively adapt to industry changes. Now I'll pass it back to Hisham to close us out with strategic key takeaways.
Thanks, David. Now, the first key takeaway is to certify with purpose. So again, starting with the why, reflect on the value proposition mentioned earlier. Reflect also on the cybersecurity domain system and map it with your skills and job roles. The second key takeaway is to combine your knowledge through credentialing by contributing to the security community with projects, presentations, and capture the flag exercises. Finally, embrace your cyber journey, stay curious, and show progress. Do you have any other tips, David?
Yeah, I think these are all great takeaways, Hisham. The only other additional takeaway I would say is don't be afraid to fail, and don't be afraid to fail fast. That allows us to be agile and course correct. Thank you all for your time today. And now we will do a Q&A session.
Thank you so much. It was a very insightful talk. For the audience, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box. We actually already have 2 questions. Let me read them out to you. So the first one is, there is a gap between what cybersecurity programs in academia and market needs. What can be done to bridge this gap? And do you think certifications can help with this?
Sam, do you want to take that?
Sure, I can take that. So if you have identified these gaps, I encourage you to work with the program administrators to share those exact gaps. Cybersecurity is moving at a fast pace, so you will find some of these gaps exist there. And of course, certification is a great way to fill your own knowledge gaps. And I'll pass it on to David to add on as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the best ways to fill that gap is to stay very close and connected with industry professionals. For an example, through these security seminars. Hisham and I are both industry professionals, so we understand the market trends and what stakeholders are looking for in terms of cybersecurity solutions or cyber risk management processes. So I think it's very important and critical for academic professionals and universities to stay very closely connected with enterprises. In addition, what I would suggest is conducting a benchmarking analysis on the current curriculum. So for an example, a university cyber program, and benchmarking that against industry recognized certification domains. For an example, the CISSP domains. That will give directionally a better idea of what are some potential gaps in the current academic programs, and it'll allow you to course correct and potentially modify some of the coursework or student requirements to make sure that they are prepared for the industry when they do enter the workforce.
Thank you. And the other question that we have is, GRC is not covered in most undergraduate cybersecurity curricula. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think this is a very similar question to before. I would just say that do the analysis as David mentioned and share it with your program administrators. And GRC is evolving as well. So you'll find some new certifications that have been released on GRC that weren't there before.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would like to add to, I think GRC is a fundamental topic that needs to be embedded with all cybersecurity programs. At some point in time, whether you're in a strategic role or in a technical role, GRC will come up, and GRC is going to be part of the development processes, the operations. So whatever role essentially you'll be part of in the workforce, you'll at some point in time come into contact with GRC. So that's definitely an area that I would urge um, professors to start incorporating as part of their curriculum and programs.
Thanks. We actually have a bunch of more questions. So the next one is, would doing a major in cybersecurity help as an undergraduate student, or can I do a data science/computer science major, since later I'll be working on getting professional certifications anyway?
That's a great question. I'll give my 2 cents and then I'll let Hisham chime in. So I would say that cybersecurity is a niche, it's a specialty. So we have a lot of individuals that come from technical and non-technical backgrounds. The individuals that we work with, of course, they come from computer science or IT backgrounds, or maybe even data science. But on the contrary, we've worked with some of the brightest individuals who maybe come from non-STEM backgrounds. So I would say it really depends on if cybersecurity is your true passion and if you discover that early on. For an example, I can speak on behalf of myself. I discovered that cybersecurity was a passion for me very early on in my career, which allowed me to continue to focus on that academically through professional certifications and in my current role. Hisham?
Yes, I would definitely agree in terms of following your passion, and you can test that out now. You can pick up a book related to these certifications from the library now, or buy it from Amazon and just read it. Do you feel passionate about it or not? And then choose your way from there.
Okay, so the next question is actually very similar, but I'll still read it out in case you want to add something. Is graduate education essential for professionals in tech and cybersecurity, or do experience and certifications hold more weight?
I believe that this varies from person to person. I can't really say whether one is better than the other. How about you, David?
Again, I think it all depends on the individual and their career aspirations. For an example, if they find themselves to be a continuous learner and they'd like to be a subject matter expert within various cybersecurity domains, I would say yes, cybersecurity professionals typically will validate your expertise, especially within the market. I don't like to say anything is essential because there are individuals who we've worked with and currently work with that don't have these professional certifications, but they are extremely competent. I mentioned this early in our presentation where professional certifications are only one of the tools in your toolbox. So use that to the best of your ability to make yourself more competitive.
Thank you. Okay. Then somebody is asking, I'm a design engineer with a background in mechanical engineering, starting my career shift into cybersecurity. And I'm currently doing the Google Cybersecurity certification on Coursera. I'm wondering what steps in terms of certifications, projects, experience, etc., should I do in order to be a good candidate for penetration testing? And are there any events that I can go to for networking? Is there any advice?
Yes, they have websites like Try Hack Me or CTF Time where you can develop penetration testing skills. In addition to that, there's various organizations like SANS that hold events related to the specific discipline. So that could be one direction that you can go.
Yeah, and in terms of professional conferences, I think that's a great networking event to connect with other cybersecurity professionals. Hisham and myself consistently attend these, whether they be ISC squared or RSA or Black Hat. So I would say try to see what cybersecurity conferences are within your area or even virtually and try to attend.
Okay. So does doing cybersecurity competitions have a similar impact on your career as having certifications?
I believe competitions are great to apply your knowledge, and it does a great job of coupling with certifications.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to add, I would look at this as a twofold. Those cybersecurity competitions assess your technical hands-on expertise within cybersecurity. On the contrary, most professional certifications will assess your theoretical knowledge of cybersecurity domains. So I think if individuals pair their competition experience with professional certifications, it gives them a vast competitive edge in the market.
Thank you. Okay, so the next question that we have is, with AI becoming a key player in cybersecurity, how can organizations ensure that their AI systems make decisions that we can trust and explain without slowing down innovation and security response times?
Sure, so I can take this one since I'm at the forefront of AI risk management. So it's critical that organizations establish effective, efficient, and stringent DevSecOps processes. Um, if we think of artificial intelligence, the technology in itself isn't new. It's been around since the 60s. What's new is the commercialization of Gen AI products and services for consumers. So organizations must establish stringent AI risk management programs that cover AI responsibility, right? So making sure that they have stringent DevSecOps processes, policies, guidance that are trickled throughout the life cycle. And I would say, in terms of the innovation, we're at the forefront of advanced technologies and an innovative state. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. So all organizations will equip artificial intelligence at some capability, whether it be as a product or service offering to their clients, or maybe an internal tool as part of their operations.
I see. Okay, so the next question that we have is, with the rise of cybersecurity certifications like CISSP, CEH, and CompTIA Security Plus, do you think these are enough to build a successful career in cybersecurity, or is a formal degree from a relevant program still essential? This, I think we've already covered, unless you want to add anything. Okay, so let's go to the next one. This isn't about certifications, but how do you manage stress and burnout in a high-pressure cybersecurity role?
I believe that this depends on the culture that you work in, the work culture that you work in. There are leads and managers that are highly conscious of the mental health of their employees, especially when it comes to these high stressful roles. So, in addition to that, it's very important to speak up in different environments and the experiences that you're having so that your leads are aware about what's going on in terms of the role that you're playing.
Yeah, and I would also like to add is, anytime, and this is my personal advice that I consistently tell individuals, anytime you're feeling stressed, just think of the galaxy and then think of yourself and think of how small you are in the perspective of the galaxy. Everything will work itself out. Try to be optimistic and have that attitude. Approach any issues or any problems, whether it be in your personal life or in a work environment, with optimism, and everything will always work itself out. But I would say also, for stress and high burnout, it's critical to have effective time management so that you're able to allocate your different responsibilities in an effective and efficient way. That's really one of the drivers of success that I've experienced in my career. It's being very targeted and having effective time management skills.
Yeah, that's great advice. Okay, so our last question is actually a follow-up from the person who was asking about how they can potentially network. They're asking, they're actually located in Chicago as well. And do you know if there are any events happening soon that they can go to? And I believe David was mentioning one before the start of the webinar, but I couldn't hear it properly.
Yeah, absolutely. In the Chicagoland area, there are various cybersecurity conferences or even meetup groups with IT professionals. So I would say connect with me on LinkedIn, and I can be sure to forward you that information for the events.
Great, thank you. Are there any other questions that we have from the audience?
Well, I also want to quickly mention, and I don't know if David or Hisham, if you're able to come to the CERIAS Security Symposium April 1st and 2nd, but if anybody is interested in our own CERIAS Cybersecurity Symposium, the registration link is on the CERIAS website. Oh, actually, Mike just added it to the chat or the Q&A. And again, I hope to see both of our speakers there. And Arushi, hopefully I'll see you there as well. And I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was like, oh my God, this is a perfect opportunity for a shameless plug. All right, guys, thank you.
Thank you, Sean. And I will be attending the annual symposium. So any individuals that would like to connect in person, please feel free to reach out to me and we can be sure to schedule some time.
Great. Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Hisham and David. This is very insightful. And I don't think we've had so many questions from the audience, at least in this semester before. So yeah, then thank you both.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks a lot.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Take care.